Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Paul Enos, filling in for Sam Shad. Today, we are going to be talking to Dr. Senator Robin Titus about healthcare, politics, and the politics of healthcare. Next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Paul Enos, filling in for Sam Shad, and today very happy to have in her a Christmas party garb, Dr. Senator Robin Titus, who has just been named the Senate Minority Leader for the Republicans. Dr. Titus, thank you so much for having us on.
Well, thank you, Paul, for the invitation, and I apologize that I can't be there in person. As you just mentioned, I do have another commitment this afternoon, so I wasn't able to get into Reno. So very much appreciate being on the show.
Well, hey, I love the festiveness of your outfit. So put us in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, and before your first question, I want to wish all your viewers a happy New Year and Merry Christmas, and however they celebrate with family and friends or personally, it's really an important time of the year. And we can't forget the most important part, of course, is Jesus Christ and the birth. So let's not forget all of that.
Yeah, amen. No, it's very important, and I think it does get you in that different mindset, when you're focused on that instead of on. I was just on the phone with my daughter about what do I get my cousin? What do I get? So no, you're 100% right on that. Before we get into the political stuff, well, I guess we're going to talk about maybe the politics of healthcare. As a doctor, I'm sure you've been seeing. We've probably had more conversations about health and about healthcare and the American medical system and the food system. Over this, I don't think we've ever really had that in an election season, but because of RFK, that was kind of put out there first and foremost, in a lot of people's, in a lot of people's view that we haven't really seen before. As a physician for a long time, what do you think about the conversation we're having about healthcare today?
Well, first, you started out by saying, well, before we get into politics, let's talk about healthcare. Then you corrected yourself because indeed, healthcare is political. And it didn't just start with RFK. It started with Obamacare and all that, those systems when Harry Reid was still our senator. And that's actually what got me into politics. What got me in politics was that managed care, kind of people in the policy realm jumping into healthcare who knew nothing about it. And I was there as a family practitioner for over 40 years, sitting on the phone trying to get a necessary test for one of my patients, and having somebody tell me I couldn't do it, and they had no idea what I was even asking to have the patient done. And so that made me feel that people like myself, a physician, should actually get engaged in the politics of healthcare. So it is there. Regarding the current stuff, I've worked hundreds of hours in emergency room. And in the past, when I told somebody they needed a tetanus shot from a wound, nobody ever questioned me except that they may not like a shot. They didn't question whether they needed the shot or not. And so I was able to give the tetanus shot. Unfortunately, what happened with COVID and a lot of issues happening, people became really distrustful of the system. And there were a lot of things that came out, rushed out without being tested. The tests themselves were inaccurate. And so people are now saying, well, wait a minute here, what do we really do? And I like I said, there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 40 years since I've been a doc. Half of the medicines, maybe even more of the medicines that we were told to use 40 years ago aren't even in the market anymore. And so now we have new stuff. So people, it's okay to question that. It's okay to get engaged, but make sure you go to reliable sources. And the most reliable source is your healthcare provider. You have to go to somebody you trust because your care is unique to you. And so what works for me won't work for you, etc. RFK has his own ideas. Some of them I support, some of them I may not agree with, but that's been the case for me forever, right? I will tell you one thing I agree with: diet and exercise. The one thing that people are still telling patients that we started out 40 years ago that I live and exercise every day is diet and exercise. Your body's your temple. Take care of it, for heaven's sakes.
I mean, Robin, I have a rule that I don't take healthcare advice from a doctor who isn't in as good of shape as I am. I went to one guy and he told me I was exercising too much and I shouldn't lift weights, and I should just do the treadmill for 30 minutes a day. And I mean, I look at this guy with like tiny little arms. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not listening to you. I need a new doctor.
Yeah. I in my life, I live what I preach, and I run every morning. I exercise. I watch my diet, and I think it's really important. And you have to be an example as a parent. You have to set examples. As a physician, you have to set examples. As a political person, I have to set good examples, and I live that.
I mean, we've heard more about seed oil and, about kind of the, big corporate food and processed foods. Is there something to that?
Well, I think anything, I'm a real supporter of farm to table programs where you actually grow your own food, your food is local. I think that there's a lot of preservatives and a lot of chemicals, a lot of dyes. I'm not a fanatic about it, but I think you have to be very careful about what you put into your body and what you can tolerate or not.
I have another rule too, my health rule, Robin. No sugar or grain unless it's distilled. And, I do have the belief that, a bourbon is better for you than a Diet Coke.
Well, there's probably, when it comes to those kind of distilleries, we know they're all local grains. We have many local distilleries here, and they grow that estate stuff. And we know that it's pretty healthy for you. So certainly I'm not, everything, I'm a preacher of temperance. So everything in moderation, I think is what the real rule has to be.
No, and I can agree with that. All right, let's get into some of the political stuff. So the election, what did we learn this last election cycle?
Definitely that gerrymandering worked for the Democrats. The reality for us as Republicans, we were able to maintain and stay out of the supermajority in not only in just one house, but in both houses.
And that was not expected. I mean, everybody, everybody in the lobbying corps thought, hey, the Republicans are going to lose their ability to sustain a Republican governor's veto in the Senate, and huge focus on the Assembly.
Well, I tell you, all of the most of the lobbyists, many of the lobbyists through the Senate under the bus and said, hey, listen, we're not even going to focus on those folks in the Senate, the Republicans in the Senate. The only way we're going to stay out of super minorities in the assembly, we're going to focus in the assembly. I said, and my caucus said, no way, we're going to fight and we're going to stay out of super minority. And we were successful. Although we lost that seat in Reno, they had a very strong margin and we couldn't get people to jump in with funding, although we had a great candidate. We picked up a seat in the South, and it was a combined effort between the governor's folks and people in Clark County, and the fact that Lori Rogich, now Senator Rogich, was a stellar candidate, really helped. But Paul, I think it's really the reality is we had over 33,000 more Republicans turn out than Democrats, but yet we're happy that we stayed out of the super minority. Frankly, if it was really fair and equal voting here in this state, we should be equal, about half and half, because that's really what that was about. The fact that the Dems have such a strong, majority, frankly, is because of gerrymandering. And I think until that gets changed, I'm all supportive of a non-political commission that figures out where these lines, because you want your voice, you want your vote to count, and that's really important.
Now, just thinking back to some of the redistricting, I think one of the fairest ones we had was when Judge Russell in Carson City basically drew the districts. And before he did that, we had, you could have like 8 or 9 assembly districts and a Senate district, and he nested them. It made sense. And, I do think it was probably a fairer process than we've seen come out of the political realm, when things get politicized.
Well, that was set up because what happened was the Democrats passed it. Governor Sandoval at the time wouldn't sign it, and then it went to this commission. And so that's the reality. That was fairness. They were able to get that passed because they had that trifecta in the Capitol between both houses
in the Democratic Senate and Assembly. All right. We are going to be right back with Dr. Senator Robin Titus on Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. I am Paul Enos, filling in for Sam Shad, here with a friend of mine. I can call you a friend, right? Dr. Senator Robin Titus, the newly elected Senate Minority Leader, representing the Republicans in the state Senate in Carson City. So let's talk about the process for next legislative session. We have a Republican governor. He has shown he's not afraid of using his pen and vetoing bills. 75 in one session, which is a record. It's a one-session record. I think he's only a few off from ultimately that I think Brian Sandoval was able to do in 8 years. How have the discussions with the leadership on the other side of the aisle been?
Well, there hasn't been really any discussions. I'd really like to sit down and have breakfast or lunch with both the leaders of the Senate and in the Assembly, Speaker Yeager and Leader Canizaro. Certainly Leader Hafen, who is the newly elected Assembly leader, and I chat frequently, actually. But I think the four of us need to get in a room and really discuss where we want to go forward in this next session. I see a lot of articles about the female majority in the state, and the Democrat majority in our state, and that like they're controlling the conversation. But in reality, in our situation, although they know that we can, in the houses, we can prevent any bill with a tax increase. We can prevent that because they require a 2/3 vote. However, they can pass all the policy bills that they want, and we can't block a policy bill. Where it helped last session was that the governor could veto that. And then we now can sustain the veto. So what happens, they control what bills will be heard, so they can control the narrative. But at the end of the day, our governor controls what gets passed. If we do not want to have a stagnant legislative process, if we want to get something done and not just waste our time, waste our citizens' time and their money, we need to sit down and cooperate and say, what can we accomplish, what we will agree on, and move forward with that. I think one of the things that came out of this last election process, everybody, both sides, our Secretary of State, our governor, myself, we all said, reporting of our election outcomes was a disaster. We were embarrassment nationwide. Everybody was waiting for Nevada. It ultimately didn't matter whether Trump got our 6 electoral college votes or not. It ultimately, thank goodness it didn't, because it took so long. He did get them. He actually ended up with 44,000 more votes than Kamala Harris did. So he had a solid amount. But the reporting took weeks to get out. It's ridiculous. So the governor's unhappy, Secretary of State Aguilar is unhappy, we're unhappy, the citizens are unhappy. So let's sit down and figure out how we can agree on getting a bill passed to make this work next time. I have solutions. I think we all have some solutions. First off is, making sure they count them quicker, making sure they can't be returned 4 days later, making sure it requires a postmark. All of those things I think are common sense that go across the aisle. And we'll have to see if are they just talking it or they really want action on it.
All right, we are having a discussion with Dr. Senator Robin Titus here on Nevada Newsmakers, and we'll be right back.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
The
Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Paul Enos here with Dr. Senator Robin Titus. You're good that I still am, referring to you by your professional title, but your professional and political title.
Right. I appreciate that. I still practice medicine. I'm still the county health officer for Lyon County. So medicine is really the heart and soul of myself.
Yeah. Last segment, we were talking about the 2025 legislative session. And, a dynamic that we haven't talked about yet is the governor's going to be up for re-election. It's, a big re-election year for him in 2026. Do you think that prevents some deals for being worked out, that maybe it puts some more challenges out there for the governor to be able to get some stuff done and the legislature to work with him?
I think so. I think we've seen that the Democrats will certainly hold up legislation from a political span. They can say they support something, but then they don't ever let anything pass on a political agenda. So we've seen that in the past. We've seen, I will use Senator Carrie Buck as an example. Senator Carrie Buck has a PhD educator, had turned around an at-risk school, tremendous senator, tremendous advocate for education. She had good bills in multiple sessions. They purposely didn't let one of her bills pass because they knew they were going to run somebody against her and then use that against her, that she's lazy, she didn't get anything passed. She's so far from being lazy. It's crazy. She's such an advocate. So we know that they're willing to give up good legislation politically. So there's that issue. The second thing is our governor, to his credit, last session, he was a novice at this. He had never done anything on the legislative aspect. He certainly advocated in his role as a law enforcement officer, and he certainly was elected. But as a sheriff, you're in charge. You tell people what you're going to have done. I'm married to a retired sheriff. I know that, they're the boss, right? He learned, he's a quick learner, smart guy. He was elected across the board by nonpartisans, Democrats, Republicans. He's done a great job. What he's also done is learn now this process. He knows that none of his bills will get heard if he doesn't communicate with them. He doesn't want that. I hope the Democrats don't want to have this stagnant legislator. I think that they will hopefully negotiate and see what issues are, or we'll get nothing done. He will use his veto pen, and then they'll use it all politically against him. But I think our citizens are wiser than that. I think people are saying, well, wait a minute, I'm still paying whatever at the pump. I'm still looking at this. People are still robbing us. They're letting out felons, all of those issues. I think those are the key things that we're going to have to, they're going to have to look at. But yes, a political year, he's going to want to get some stuff done. I think that's going to be the reality. At the same time, they don't want him to get anything done. So, and they'll use it against him. Paul, there's no word we don't use in our vocabulary and politically fairness, right? There's no fairness or what's right. And my constituents say, well, why didn't this happen? Or why didn't that happen? Well, that seemed like good legislation. That's just not there. One other quick thing is I wanted to put in a bill that when we put in a bill, that you just learn the facts of the bill, what it was trying to do, and not who sponsors it. And only if the chair of the committee has decided to hear it, would it get a hearing, and then they reveal who the sponsor is. Because then we all have good legislation, but they really do decide, whoever's the chair of the committee, whether the bill gets a hearing or not. And I think it's just wrong. And we just weren't able to get that bill. No other state has that process. And so, we're stuck with what we are. But it doesn't mean it's right.
So, Robert, we got 1 minute to go. Ultimately, what is your thought with how this is going to end in June, this legislative session? Do you think, hey, citizens are going to be happy? Do you think, where do you think we're going to end up? Another record year of vetoes?
Perhaps. We'll see. I hold out with good faith that the folks on both sides of this aisle, there are folks there that ran for the purpose of doing better for the state. We've gotten bills passed. I've gotten bills passed in the minority when they had the trifecta. And I think that they're willing to do that. Again, this election year with now Attorney General Ford announcing a possible run, nothing's written in stone. He hasn't filed, certainly. I mean, it may throw a different light on it, but I truly believe that the leaders on both sides really care about Nevada, really want to get something done. And that's what I'm hoping for. If I felt it was just a waste of my time being there, I wouldn't be in office again. And I'm really holding that there's good faith out there that we'll get something done. We'll have to see.
Well, hey, Senator, thank you so much. Always good to talk to you, Robin, and good health and Godspeed. And hey, safe travels in rural Nevada.
Heading out to Winnemucca tomorrow and then down to Tonopah. So we will get to see my rural district a little bit.
Some of my favorite places. I was married in Winnemucca, so big place in my heart. All
Good.
right.
Well, take care and happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Have a great new year. We're going to be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news in between and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food.
It's a good time to eat.
Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
We wouldn't steer you wrong with the gold standard of steaks at Joel's Chop House. Indulge in dry-aged steaks, seafood, Wagyu tomahawks, and great views of the Strip.
If you want to catch up on this Nevada Newsmakers or any other shows, visit our website at nevadanewsmakers.com. Also, wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2025. Thanks for watching and